This is Toxai, brought to you by Waithira. Most people call me Carol Ndegwa. It is another week and hence another episode. And today I'll be discussing about a topic that you've heard about in the matatu as you go to work. You've read about it in the newspaper. You've watched it in the news. Your mom has tried to talk to you about this topic. Your friends have talked about it in the office. It's a topic that has become so common. You've heard me talk about it in my podcast. It's a topic that, has gained a lot of popularity since last year in October. By now, you already know what I'll be talking about. But before I can get into that, today I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine. We were trying to decide on what herbicide to use for our experimental trial, which we are trying to control both broadleaves and grass weeds. And so when we were having this conversation, my colleague suggested that we use Roundup. He thought that Roundup would be better compared to other herbicides in the market, and this is because it has no residual in the soils. But I paused and I said, but Roundup has been banned. He said, yeah, it has been banned, but it's still in the market under a different name. Roundup has been banned in Kenya because and not only in Kenya but also in other European countries, and this is because it has a certain active ingredient called the glyphosate, which is carcinogenic, meaning that it causes cancer. And I thought the Kenyan government must have so much contempt for its own citizens, if at all such a product that has really this data, this tangible data everywhere, that shows that this product is really not good, not only for even human health, but the environment and even the animals that live in the water bodies. When when you look at when these products are released into the waters. And I went ahead and I checked and I found out that 34% of the pesticides that have been registered under the PCPB in Kenya have already been withdrawn from the European market. PCPB stands for Pest Control Products Board, and this organization is responsible for assigning for the safety, the efficiency, and the quality, and also the economic value of the pest control products for the purposes of registration, meaning that any product that is in the market that is meant for pest control, it has to go through evaluation by this body for it to be registered for use. PCPB has many roles among those, and also another one is to ensure that this is sustainability of the manufacturing and also the distribution. And so I thought there is a gap there. There's somebody not then doing their job, or there's somebody who is really gaining good or eating good by allowing the registration of such products. And I think it's important for us as a country to be able to, every individual has the responsibility to ensure that they have so much integrity in their work, not to allow such products to get into the market. I mean, each and every one of us has a responsibility to be able to ensure the growth of a country. And if such products are being allowed into the market, then there's no growth. It's just destruction. Anyways, I wanted us to talk about GMOs. Of course, I was talk about GMOs, and I'll be demystifying the issues that revolve around genetically modified organisms. GMOs it's either an animal or a plant or any organism whose DNA has been altered, and this is using genetic engineering techniques. This means that these organisms contain a foreign DNA material that is distant from its own relative. During the start of domestication, farmers tried to get ways in which they would improve their crops to be able to resist certain diseases or even to be high yielding. With time, scientists came up and they were able to come up with techniques such as hybridization, where you cross a male and a female to get an offspring that has superior traits from both the parents. With the advanced technologies, genetic engineering techniques are now being used to improve both animals and crops. Normally, through hybridization, you will cross a maize or a bean and a bean, and this means that you will only cross species from the same family. But with genetic engineering techniques, scientists are able to introduce a foreign DNA from a very distant organism from your target organism. And again, you are able to appreciate the importance of biodiversity within our ecosystem. Normally, these genetic modified organisms will contain the foreign DNA and its own DNA, but now with enhanced traits. It's able to resist diseases, it's able to tolerate biotic and abiotic stresses, it's also able to be high yielding, and for some they will contain higher nutritional content such as vitamin A. And since the combination of two organisms are so distant, there are certain concerns that have come up with their safety. Most of the safety concerns that have been brought forth are the safety of these genetically modified organisms on the environment and the human health, especially after consumption. And it is this aspect of health especially that I will be talking about or demystifying on today. I am pretty sure you've heard about BT cotton, BT maize or BT soybean, and BT cotton, the acronym BT comes from the word Bacillus thuringiensis. So during the emergence of the pest that really affects maize, which is called the stalk borer, how farmers were able to control this pest is by use of soil. So they would pick some soil from the ground and fill it in the funnel, and they believed that through that way they were able to suffocate the pest and it was able to die. But scientists came out and they were able to do some research studies, and they were able to identify the existence of the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis in the soil, that it was responsible for the death of these pests. The scientists were able to identify that the bacteria had a gene that was responsible for the production of a certain protein that led to the death of these larvae, and therefore the scientists were able to incorporate this bacteria into the maize, and therefore enhance the resistance of the maize species to become resistant to the stalk borer. This BT, Bacillus thuringiensis gene, has also been used in enhancing the resistance of cotton to the bollworm infestation. The existence of Bacillus thuringiensis in the soil is therefore very evident that the methods that are being used are actually really natural. These are processes that occur naturally in our ecosystem. The mechanism in which the BT maize, for example, is able to resist infestation by a certain pest is also very specific. Stalk borer is the second stage of the moth. The moth has 4 stages in its life cycle, starting from the eggs, the larvae, the pupa, and the adult. The protein that is expressed by the bacteria can only affect the larvae stage of the moth. That means that a moth on the maize cannot be affected. And this is because the moth does not eat the maize leaves maybe, but it is at the larvae stage of this moth that eats the maize and causes losses, and that is how the BT is able to be specific to the stage of the moth that affects or causes destruction. Furthermore, this research is monitored just from the beginning at the proof of concept all the way to the release of genetically modified organisms into the market. There are certain protocols that are followed, certain bodies and certain organizations that are involved during the research of these genetically modified organisms and also the development. Kenya is a member state of the United Nations and therefore it is included in treaties such as the Convention of Biological Diversity. Within the CBD is the Cartagena Protocol that normally addresses the concerns of organisms or crops or animals that are developed through modern biotechnologies, and especially the concerns that revolve around these matters. Genetically modified organisms are normally developed with the aim to increase their resistance to certain diseases, to increase their yields, to increase their tolerance to periods like the drought seasons, and to also increase their additional nutritional component. With no aim do researchers or scientists develop these organisms with a negative motive. These organisms have been in use and cultivation and also consumption for the last 25 years. It It is therefore with no doubt that these organisms are safe for our health, for the environment, and for the animals. Furthermore, there is no tangible evidence, data, or reports that have reported these organisms to cause death, to cause cancer, or even to be allergenic to individuals. By having all these superior attributes, these organisms have increased or improved the economic livelihoods of especially the small-scale farmers, hence increasing the national economic status. Crops such as the sweet potato have been developed or released that have additional contents of vitamin A, and therefore reducing cases of vitamin A deficiency and malnutrition in children and also individuals, and therefore reducing mortality cases. It is therefore evident that modern biotech is for the greater good, and we, the youth, have a voice to be able to be for modern biotechnology and to advocate for these technologies and to demystify any concerns or any issues that may be around genetically modified organisms. And that's the end of our episode today. As always, guys, thank you for being here. See you on the next one. Toodles!